So once you have your AgXcel pump system installed and the Raven RCM plugged in, the next thing you need to do is to set up the profile. This will be setting up the profile for a single product. So the first thing you want to do when you boot up the RCM, you're brought up to this page for new profile, hit select, and then it will go through its loading screen. All right, so for your profile name, go ahead and put in whatever name you need for your profile. For the single product, your machine type will be liquid FERT tool. And then for your application width, just put in the width of your toolbar in feet. So in this case, I'm putting this on an 8 row. So I'll set it up as 20 feet. I'll hit next. From here, the number of ECUs, this would represent the RCM. I just have one on there. That's the serial number of my RCM. One product right there. I'll hit next. Application type you'll have as liquid gallon. Then you'll hit next. Product 1 liquid you will have set as just liquid. From there you can hit next. Your aux you will not enable that, so just press next. Your number of sections, if you don't have any section valves, you'll still put 1 in there. In this case, I have 2 section valves, so I'm going to put in 2. Section valve type is set as 3 wire, and then equal section width. You'll check that box if every single section has the same number of rows in it. If not, then you will have to uncheck that box. So say if you had a stacker planter, a 12 row, and you have 6 rows in the center and 3 rows on each wing, you wouldn't have equal section widths in that case if that's how your sections are set up. So I wouldn't check that box, and then I can change my width per section. So in this case, my 2 section valves, it'll be 10 foot per. That's how I want it. I'm going to leave the box checked. I'll hit next. From here, it automatically split up my widths, but if you didn't check that box, you can just put in your width for each section, hit next. Right now, the auxiliary drivers, I don't have any enabled, so they're going to be set to none. Most of you would probably have it set to none. This will give you a summary of your section setup. If that looks right, hit next. For your pressure sensor, if you don't have a pressure transducer on the system, you can hit none. If you have the AgXcel pressure transducer, then you can select custom. You'll hit next. Have your minimum at 0, your maximum will be at 100. And if you want an alarm, if you go below or above that threshold that you set, then you can enable that box. Agitator installed and flow return installed, you'll have those as unchecked. Your height switch, if you're using an AgXcel height switch, you will have that set to digital NPN. In this case, I don't have a height switch. I'm going to set that to none. I'll press next. All AgXcel pump systems use a PWM driver. So your control valve type, you want to set to PWM close. Valve response rate, we normally start those off at 100 for both of the electric and hydraulic pump systems. Control deadband at 2%. Valve delay, you can have at 0, and enable PWM Smart Control, have that box unchecked. If I hit next, my coil frequency, I'll have it set to 100 for both of the electric and hydraulic diaphragm pump. For these settings that are in here, refer to the manual that came with the pump system for the setup. In this case, I have the electric pump system, so my PWM high limit, I'll have it 100. My PWM low limit, I'm going to set at 10. And my PWM startup here, I'm also going to set at 10% because I'm running a lower rate on a smaller bar, so I don't need it to jump too high to get to my target rate. I'll press next. Your flow meter calibration number, you want to refer to the manual that came with your pump system on the sticker with the serial number. We also have the flow calibration number written on that. You can also find that flow meter calibration number written on the flow meter. There's a sticker that comes with it, and you can find your number there as well. In this case, for the flow meter I have, I'll put in 11355 for my flow cal. My flow meter pulses per unit is going to be set to gallon, just GAL. I'll hit next. If you had a tank fill sensor, you can enable that, but in this case I don't, so it's none. You can put in your tank capacity here, and then the current level of that tank. If you want an alarm when your tank gets low, you can enable that. So I'll put it at 100 gallons, and you can enable the alarm if you need to. Right here for your preset rate value, when you're running the system on the top right of the screen, it's basically a quick select for your target rate. So since I'm doing an in-furrow, I'm just going to choose 5 gallons. Maybe on another part of my field, I know I need to go to 4 and I want to quickly switch it. So here I'll just put 4 in for that value. This rate bump, you'll have an arrow as well to where you can change the rate of what you're doing. So if you're doing a big swing of nitrogen rates, maybe you want it to set at 5 gallon increment changes for every time you press that arrow up or down. If you're an in-furrow, maybe you want to do half a gallon or 1 gallon. In this case, I'm just going to set it to 1 gallon. Rate selection I'll have as predefined. Display smoothing, make sure you have that checked. Decimal shift, I like to keep this at 2. And then your off rate, 20% is default, and you can have that alarm on. That's usually what I keep it at. It's a pretty good rate. If you're off by 20%, you'll get an alarm on your screen telling you that you're off rate. Hit next. You'll be brought up with the summary, and if the summary looks all right, just press next. And then the next thing we need to do, we need to calibrate the pressure sensor. So we will do a calibrate pressure sensor by voltage. For the AgXcel pressure transducers, you'll put in 50 for the volts. Make sure you don't have any pressure in the pump system. If you calibrate it while you have pressure sitting on that transducer, it won't be calibrated right. So once you have the 50 in there, press the check mark, and then that's set up. If you need to change your PWM settings with this wrench up here, you can press control valve. Here are those PWM settings again that we can adjust. If you needed to change your flow meter calibration number, here's that information. Another setting when you run the pump system, and if you see your pump is just surging all over the place and you can't get it to calm down, after adjusting some of these settings like lowering the valve response rate, what you can do, press and hold on that tab on top for about 10 seconds, and then you'll have a pop-up down here called Advanced Tuning. From there, put in the settings that we have in the manual for you. You can start off with that and then adjust as needed. So I'll set that to 1. And then I'll hit my check mark. In this case, if I'm ready to run the pump system, there's 2 ways that you can run it in a simulated test while you're sitting still. The quickest way is just if you hit your mile per hour down here, or your mile per hour might be in a different position. If you press that, you can put in a test speed. I'll just do 5 miles an hour. You can also hit your wrench on, or your gears on the side, hit your tractor icon down here, test speed, put in your 5 miles. And then you need to hit your soft master switch. Make sure you're 5 gallon per acre there. This will be your target rate. So here I can hit my 4, I can have 0. If I were to put a value in there, I can hit 5. And then this will show me my actual rate that I'm putting out. And then this is a quick view on the side. On the bottom there, there's my 5 for my target. And this 0 would be my live number that'll update when I actually run the pump system. And then down here, your master off, this will be your foot switch. Once you hit that, the pump will turn on, it'll start running. And from here, you can see that it locked right in on rate.